wasn't planning on being out and about today because being out all day yesterday has me utterly exhausted today. But I was supposed to take tortillas with me last night to the meeting for my bestie. I accidentally bought 2 huge packages of tortillas when I went grocery shopping a couple weeks ago, and she was talking about she's going to be making wraps for her and the girls for fair, and I'm like, don't go buy tortillas. And so I was going to give her some. I forgot to take them to her last night, so I'm heading over to her place to bring her the tortillas, which I tried to leave my house 3 different times without them. And then after that, I'm gonna hang out with them for a little bit. And then I gotta run back to Winco because last night when I got home, I was putting groceries away and I was making up my bowls of dragon salad and talking to my husband about, feeding them next week. And I said, well, I picked up some, more quart-sized plastic bags, and I'll do like I did last time, you had to take care of them. And it occurred to me that I didn't put away any Ziploc bags. And I start looking around and I'm like, where are they? So I was like, okay, did I even buy them? So I start looking for the receipt, and I can't find the receipt either. And then it dawned on me, the receipt is in the bottom of the bag that I left at the store. So I called them and they're like, yeah, it's back here, we've got it. And I said, well, it's all dried goods. You don't have to worry about anything spoiling. They're like, all right, we'll just leave it up at customer service with your name on it. So I have to go back to Winco and pick that up too. I'm like, my brain, it drives me crazy. I'm stuck in a combination problem between exhaustion and ADHD, and I still have some lingering long-term, long-haul COVID symptoms that also affect my memory and stuff. So it's like, man, like triple whammy. There's days where I literally just feel grateful that I know my own name. Where I live. I'm gonna make a pit stop on my way to her place because I need something to drink. Since I was actually supposed to be at her house like 3 hours ago, I didn't want to take the time to wash my water bottle out and fill it, so I'm just going to stop at the store. So I'm not happy to see that there's all this construction going on. I mean, I moved out to the country for a reason. That's a new gas station back there. All the houses that are back there are brand new. There's a storage unit going in here. I don't know what else is going in. Down this road right here, off to the right, it goes off to more housing, and our Country Mercantile that I was talking about yesterday is out there. But yeah, I mean, I like it better like this, where it's just, farmland and, but it is what it is. There's so much more building that has gone out by my friend's house than there is, or ever could be by mine, fortunately. I should probably not be doing 60 and a 40. Or in a 50, I mean 60 and a 50. Winery off to my left. This is a farm potato, I think. Off to my right. Corn on my left. It is currently 101 degrees outside. I mean, all I can do is hope that this heat does its thing and subsides and it's not triple digits next week at fair. It's never fun for it to be that hot. All of these houses, off to the right are all brand new, like within the last couple of years. Well, I didn't realize that at some point that stopped recording. That sucked. Not sure what the deal was. I don't know if I hit the stop button when I was trying to adjust, because it looked like that was kind of the last thing that I was doing, was trying to adjust my camera. But when I got to the gas station, I was just going to pause you while I ran in to get something to drink. And the camera was already off. Road closed to through traffic. Okay. I ain't go this way. Alternate route. Hopefully they don't have this road up here blocked off too. Looks like that might be why there's so much traffic on this road. It's because everybody's coming off the next road over due to construction. I'm gonna have to get some Loctite or something for that nut that holds that in place. Anyway, what I was talking about, what you missed when my camera turned off, was all the construction that's going on. I started to talk about it, at least, up on my end, up by where the Country Mercantile is. But there's a lot less room out by me for expansion than there is out here by K. So much has been built out here. It's crazy because I hadn't been over here in a few months. We'd been meeting in town for lunch and random stuff, so I hadn't actually been to her house in quite a while. And I come out this way and I'm like, dang, what is all this new stuff? I couldn't believe how much construction had gone on out here. So these are all old houses. These have been out here for, as long as forever. Pretty much the stoplight that's coming up and everything at the stoplight and beyond is almost all brand new. Like within the last year and a half. So off to our left, see, and they're building more. Looks like there's like a little strip type thing, maybe. Car wash. They're putting in a car wash. Firehouse Subs, Sunmart. Back behind that is the school district bus barn. Off to the right is a brand new school. Off to the left is a brand new school. It used to be, off to the right, they didn't put the school there. That's just a building for lease. That was going to be they haven't built the other school. That's why the field is a little further back. It used to be that the kids that are out here would have to be taken into West Richland to go to school, or go all the way out to Benton City to Kybee, and that they were bused, and it would take them a long time. This is brand new Richland School District building. So yeah, it was kind of nice. It was nice when they built their own schools out here. The one that's an elementary school that was off to the left. What's supposed to be going on to the right, I think, is going to be a middle school. And I don't know if there's plans to build a high school, or if they're going to still bus them into Richland. I don't know. To the left is a police station, which has only been here again about 2 years. Prior to that, we had no police station out here, and if you needed an officer, you were stuck waiting for a long time. In fact, when a few years ago, well, it's a bit more than a few, but Christina and I were involved in a vehicle accident. We were T-boned by a guy on a motorcycle who was highly intoxicated. We called for police assistance, and they're like, well, they're all busy, so just stay on the scene and wait. Well, while we were waiting, the guy called his family, and they came up in a truck and started loading up the motorcycle and left the scene. So, not knowing who he was, we followed him so that we could report to the police department and, we called and let them know, that they left the scene. So we followed, this is where we were at, but we were on the phone several times with them because they kept coming out. They were circling the car. They came out with bats at one point in time, and it was like super scary, and we were like, get an officer here, and so we ended up just pulling off the property but staying and waiting for the police. But it took them over an hour to respond to the call. And so it was ridiculous. And in the end, they found him guilty. But yeah, it was a mess. So it's nice that there's, police presence out here now. So hopefully their response time is a little quicker. So over there on the right is all her lammies. The girls' lambs. Alright, so I'm going to turn you guys off, and you can join me for more driving in a little bit. Bye. Okay, it is almost 5 o'clock. Woohoo, we're down to 96 degrees. Heading out of Christina's. And yeah, I really dislike her driveway a lot. I use my backup camera to get out of her driveway. She's probably watching me going, what the hell? So off to Winco to get my forgotten groceries. And ironically enough, that's where she's going to be heading. She's got to go grocery shopping for fair stuff. So depending on what kind of chaos is going on in her truck right now, I may still be there or I may not. I don't know. It is yucky. It's mucky. Very muggy. As you can see, the wind is starting to blow, which is kind of nice. Because at least there's some air movement with it being, it's 96 degrees outside. Even though it is hot air, at least it's moving air. So there's that. Unfortunately, as I've said on previous videos, what wind here typically means is there's a storm coming. So not really looking forward to that necessarily. But again, like I was saying before, hopefully this means that all of the heat and everything is gonna go, and then we won't have such a sweltering fair next year, but we'll see. Do I want to go through town? Yeah, sure. I'll take you guys on a drive through West Richland on my way to town. Why not? So this out here is still considered Benton City. But, as we were talking I was talking on the earlier video, it is Richland School District, and right here is, now we have crossed into West Richland, which is why the school district is listed as Richland. Lots of road construction going on out here. I wonder if they're putting another, it looks like they're putting a bike lane in, if I was to venture a guess there. The speed limit out here is 50. Wow, lots of new apartments. Look at all that. Those are all new homes. I just realized I could zoom while I was recording. Huh. Craziness to think how much there must have been a fire or something, some recent, because I just, we've passed two ambulances and a fire truck. So Okay, speed limit's only 35, so the guy behind me can get off my tail. I'm already doing 40. You know, it's really funny is that I have my brain keeps like getting stumped because I have a backup camera. So in a line, I have my rear view mirror, and hanging from my rear view mirror is my camera that's recording, and then right below that, just a couple inches below that, is my backup camera. So I keep looking up like to see, you know, I see somebody in my rear view mirror that seems really close, and I go to look in my rear view mirror, but rather than in my rear view, I'm actually looking into my camera, and it trips me out that there's not a car behind me. And I'm like, bleh, look in the mirror, not the camera. But it's like, yeah, my brain, every time I do it, my brain has to like adjust to the concept that my camera is not looking behind me. So this is the town of West Richland. Trailer park on both sides. I don't know, I don't think they're owned by the same people, but they might be. This place off to the left has a big gazebo, like an indoor party place that they rent out to, but you have to, the person that lives within the trailer park has to be on the contract to rent. But we've had baby showers there. We did a bridal shower there once. It's pretty cool, you know. But unfortunately, the family member that we had living there no longer lives there. We actually had a memorial service there too. I just remembered that. That was the first time I went there, was for a memorial. Tiny little market. So this little building up here on the left, or on the right where the flag is, this right on the end, is probably one of the best coffee places that I've been to. Unfortunately, they are way out here in the middle of nowhere for me. I mean, I'm never out here. So it literally would be, I'm making a special trip out there to get coffee. And now it's not worth the gas that it would take me to get here and then to buy a really expensive coffee. So, but they are really good. At least last time I was here, I should say that, because it has been a while. It was really good coffee. Move over into the right-hand lane. Hopefully it's not a turn only. So this guy behind me that wants to go way over the speed limit can zoom past me just to stop at the red light. This is the one and only main drag through West Richland. Very tiny. I probably set the population on the sign back there. I don't know, I didn't notice. But as you can see, it's pretty rural. I hate saying that word. But they do have some essentials. They have a bank up here on GISA, actually a credit union up here on the right. They do have a car sales place right here. As you can see, there's a Subway, Circle K. There is a coffee. I don't like these guys. This is the company that took over Roasters, this Wake Up Call, at least in our area. And I don't like their coffee. I went there once and went, eh. It's very bitter to me, which is the same reason I don't like Starbucks. Their coffee is bitter. Brick House Pizza is right here on the right. That is a family-owned pizza place. They have two other branches. The one brother owns Brick House Pizza and the other brother owns Rocco's Pizza. And there's two Rocco's, one in Kennewick, one in Pasco, and then Brick House here in West Richland. But the two brothers own the restaurant separately, but they use the same family recipes. Good thing too is that they actually have gluten-free options, and they have each restaurant has a gluten-free section in the kitchen. So dedicated utensils, dedicated pans, so there isn't that cross-contamination with the gluten products, which is absolutely wonderful. And when we first started going to the Rocco's in Pasco, I had asked, what the story was behind it, because it's so hard to find, especially pizza places that do gluten-free options. And it's actually because they have a family member who has celiac, and pizza was the favorite food that was lost after the diagnosis. So they kind of made it their mission as part of their business plan to have, to be able to offer gluten-free. And that, of course, expanded into the brothers, into Brickhouse as well. But really good pizza, really, really good pizza. And the brother that owns Rocco's is currently battling cancer. I haven't seen any updates lately. Actually, I'll have to go check. I'm gonna go down the highway. I don't want to drive all the way through town. They did a fundraiser, and it was it wasn't like a GoFundMe, at least not that I ever saw. It was proceeds from purchases made at the pizza parlor were being put over into treatment and expenses. But I haven't seen any updates in a while, so I'll have to check when I get to the internet and just kind of do a peek and see how he's doing. But good people, they're really good people. And we support family business as best, as much as we can. For the most part, I try to keep my money local. Obviously, I do buy from Temu. I've done the videos. I've been buying from Wish for probably a decade. But I do try to, if I'm buying something and I know there's a store locally owned that sells the product, I will go buy it from the local store, even if I have to pay extra for it. So I try to keep my money local, and I definitely try to support small business over large corporations. So yeah, we have the Arcade Bar, which is a restaurant with an arcade, but and there's a bar, and so it's primarily a 21 and over place. So it's like a casino, but it's an arcade. Where like a casino, as in they just bring you free drinks and they keep you sauced up. But you have to pay. I've not ever been in there because I'm not a big drinker, and I don't play video games, so it would be a double waste of money for me to go. But I'm sure it'd be kind of like Chuck E. Cheese, and you buy a package, so you get X number of drinks as part of your play package. I don't know. It's just what I'm envisioning. And they have a couple days a week where between certain hours it's family time. So they shut down the bar and kids can come in and play the games because there's no alcohol being served. That's a locally owned restaurant. Stick and Stone Pizza is locally owned. Porter's Barbecue is locally owned. Here I'm talking about all the food places. Trying to think which way I want to go. I think I have one more stop to figure it out. Anyway, so yeah, Porter's, Stick and Stone, Arcade. There's a pub. Proof is locally owned. Proof is actually owned by Stick and Stone Pizza. They have a second restaurant that they called Proof, and they named it that because their mission statement was to prove that small businesses can survive in a closed community, and more specifically restaurants, non-chain restaurants can survive, and we're going to prove it. So they named their restaurant Proof. Trying to think what other I mean, there's lots of like insurance places, car sales, car lots that are locally owned. I got in this lane and I could have just waited. I was debating on whether or not to turn here or jump on the highway and take the next exit, but I think I'm gonna stay on the highway. Just take the next exit. But yeah, all good restaurants. I complain a lot about, well, not really about my community. I complain more about my state. As the state as a whole has got a lot of issues, like making us pay for plastic bags. It's illegal here to collect rainwater for use. Like, you can't collect rainwater and drink it. You can't collect rainwater and use it to wash your clothes. It's illegal to collect rainwater in this state. It's like, what? We charge for air. So there's a lot of things about the state and how my state is run that I don't like, but I think the community that I live in is a really good community. We have a lot of resources here, and we've got a lot of beautiful places. So I'll be working on that, figuring, getting a list together and just kind of doing a tour of the Tri. I'll probably just do like one place at a time. Except for like the Country Mercantile, since there's both locations. I'll either do something in my area with our Country Mercantile as one video, or something in Pasco with the Pasco Mercantile as one video, just because they are they're too far apart to do the Country Mercantiles in one video, in my opinion, because it's like a 35 minute drive from my house, so I don't want to drive over there just to like make a video. I'd feel guilty. It would have to be coordinated around a payday, because I would feel like I need to buy stuff while I'm there. All that good fun stuff. So on my way to Winco to pick up my forgotten groceries from last night. I hope you guys are enjoying these. I've contemplated doing them live, because it'd be nice to like be able to have a conversation, not just sitting here rambling on and talking about random stuff. But because everything is on the right, my head already doesn't turn that direction, I would really feel uncomfortable trying to look at the screen to read comments. I don't think I have the vision to do that. I don't think I have the body movement to be trying to do that. So that's why I don't do these live. But yeah, leave in the comments, whether you're enjoying these driving streams or not. I will probably still record, even if everybody's like, nah, or I look at my views and they're just, nobody's watching them, then why keep recording them? But I will probably keep doing it just so I have a, like a dash cam, because crazy stuff happens, and, it'd be nice to have record of it. You get hit and it's somebody else's fault and you can prove it. Oh, I don't think I can get in that spot. Never mind. I'll go this way. So either I go looking into my phone again to see if there's anybody behind me. And since this is just a quick run in, run out, I'm actually just going to pause the video, and hopefully my phone doesn't shut off, or the camera doesn't turn off before I get back. So if not, either way, it'll only be a couple seconds for you and a couple minutes for me. I'll be right back. Yay, the camera didn't turn off. Now we head home. My husband will already be there. And I have no idea what I'm making for dinner. Let's see if I can get out of this parking lot. Yes, truck. We know there was a car there. I saw it. One coming from that way. One coming from that way. Make sure no people just decide to randomly walk behind me. That happens a lot. It's like, do you not see a vehicle in motion reversing? Why are you walking behind me when I was already reversing? That is one thing I will say about my community that I definitely don't like, is that that pedestrians have the right of way is taken to an insane level here. Like, in the respect that they just walk out without even looking. You know, they'll just come out of a store and just boop, 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 and walk right in front of somebody without even looking to see if there was a car there. They step off the street into crosswalks, just assuming that the car that's coming sees them and is going to stop. So we end up with a lot of vehicle versus pedestrian accidents that technically is the pedestrian's fault. But because, quote unquote, pedestrians always have the right of way, it ends up being the person in the vehicle that gets in trouble. Hence why I'm saying I'm going to run my camera either way, because I will fight that in court if it ever happens to me. So I will have video evidence that that person walked out in front of me without even looking. That intersection always cracks me up too, because, you know, in the rules of the road book, we all learn that when you're making a left-hand turn, you know, you turn into the lane closest to you, or, you know, you follow the lines that are painted on the road in some cases. In that particular intersection, that middle lane turns left, but mid-turn it splits into two lanes. The left lane goes to Kennewick Pasco. The right lane goes to the highway. So, like, midway, you have to decide whether you're going into the close lane or the far lane. You know, so you gotta break the training that we've always had about, you know, turning into the lane closest to you. But it's like, it's the way the road's designed. Whoo-wee, it is windy, windy, windy out here. The other day I was talking about the intersection where you only have like a little short period of time for like 3 lanes to merge. Right here is where it's at. So off to the right is the on-ramp from the highway, the other highway. So you come on here, and if you need to go straight, you've got to merge right here but the people that need to go, that are wanting to go to Walmart, also have to merge right here. And this is the exit to the Walmart. So you don't have very long to, like, for everybody to, maneuver. And there's the rain. I don't know how well. Oh, yep, you can see that on camera. Told you, if the wind is blowing, there's a storm coming. I'm just hoping that this doesn't turn into thunder lightning, because we've had a lot of dry days. And our fields all around us are very dry, so we ended up lightning tonight. We most definitely end up with fires. And that's always the scary part. I mean, you can look around, you can look and you can see how yellow, I live in a desert. We have a lot of sand, and we have plants that are meant to live in dry, in a dry environment. And unfortunately, they burn really, really well. So what's, in some other places, even within the state, like a fire that gets started on the west side doesn't, like if a fire was started here and simultaneously started on the west side of the state, the fire on the west side, all things equal, the crew being equal, the equipment being equal, the fire on the west would be put out and controlled much faster than the fire on the east. And that's simply because it's more green on that side of the state. Everything here is dry and meant to be in a dry environment. So a little tiny fire starts out and very, very, very quickly spreads into something large and often out of control. So we dread fire season around here. A couple years ago, in fact, it's in my Facebook memories, but a couple years ago, as we were driving home, we could see this huge plume of smoke, and it looked like it was, like really like right in the area of our house, like in the general area. And we started to panic the closer we got to home, because it was like, oh my gosh, that's right there. And when we got home, it literally was on the hill behind our house. And it was started by somebody out shooting in the quarry. It's kind of one of those, again, I live in the country, so a lot of the laws, if there are laws, they're ignored unless it, interferes with somebody's safety. So while technically they're not supposed to be out there shooting, it's not an active quarry. It's the remnants of an old one, so it's kind of a hollowed out land. And anyway, it's kind of become a dump site as well, so there's lots of targets to shoot at. So even though they're not supposed to be out there shooting, the sheriff also kind of looks over it when it's reported. But a couple years ago, somebody was out there shooting. It was, right after we'd had a huge heat wave, kind of like we're having now, many, many, many days in a row, triple digit. And they started a fire and ran when they couldn't get it put out because it spread so fast. They got in their vehicle and they ran. Which I get, but they didn't even call it in, which I think, was what made it extra wrong. They knew it was burning, they knew the risk, and they knew the consequences of that fire burning, and yet they didn't call it in. It actually turned out to be one of the residents that live up there that called in the fire. Well, I can post the video, but it came up and it came over the hill and it came within feet of the houses that are just on the other side of the pastures from my place. When we weren't super concerned, because there's a lot of green at the time between our house. It would have, to get to us, it would have had to come through like 3 or 4 pastures and homes. So we weren't worried about our safety in that moment, but it was just like, oh my gosh, that's really, really close. And it burned so fast. I couldn't believe how quickly the whole hillside was on fire. But it was good to watch how the community really quickly came into action too. The people that own the farm behind us that I've talked about them on previous videos, they immediately hooked the discs up, got their disc tractor out there, and were out plowing fire lines, trying to get the fire stopped. And one of our farmers, he melted off tires on two of his rigs, helping put that fire out, and never asked for a dime to replace them. And to me, that's what a community is. Was his house in danger of burning too? Yep. He had a lot to lose if that fire didn't get under control. But he wasn't out there trying to save his own home. He was out there trying to save everybody's home. And, I imagine he probably had to put $3,000-$4,000 out to replace the tires on his tractor, at least. I've never looked at price, but I'm thinking from the standpoint of my tires on my truck, and it's just a driver. Mine are $139 a piece. So the tractor tires, I'm imagining they've got to be, $800,000-$900,000 a piece. But not once did he ask for the community to, come in and, reimburse him. So that was kind of my first, wow, okay. This is why I moved out here into the country, because country looks after country. We really do. All the times I've lived in the city, very rarely have I seen city come together to solve a problem. One or two, yes, but to have a whole crew of people, no. Well, this same family, our irrigation district, was attempting to eminent domain their family farm. It's been in their family for 65 years. It is an operating farm. And they wanted it. So they were being sneaky and, bending rules and trying to get their land without, they tried to do it without them even knowing it was happening. All this stuff was happening behind the scenes, and it was just some random, the next town over posted something in their paper about the eminent domain, that the person that was reading it recognized the address, called her friend that lives here in town, who knew one of the family members, called them. They called the property owners, and they were like, what are you talking about? And they were literally like weeks away from losing their property. And so the whole community, when they found out, they printed up flyers and they went door knocking and said, hey, this is when the meeting is. Please come and show your support. And that first meeting, we had people standing outside the building. We filled that building with people supporting that same family that was up on that mountain, up on that hilltop, plowing fire lines, saving homes. This community rallied together against a government agency to them to not lose their property. And he won. They've dropped their claim. So that's what a community is, We do things together, but most importantly, we put things aside. We put any kind of feelings aside to work together for a common goal. And that's, that's a community. And that's why I live out here in the country, because I want that community, So, anyway, as you can see, you're staring at my garage again. So, I am home. Again, thanks for tuning in. If you like the content, please hit the like button. Subscribe, share. Again, if share my content, help me boost my numbers. Like 156 or so away from monetization. So yeah, if you know, please share, and stay tuned. Not sure what my next videos are going to be, but fair is next year, so you'll start to get the animal videos and that kind of stuff while I'm there. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you later.